Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be chatting about my finances for the year. So we'll do a little bit of a mid-year check-in. So of course it's been a minute and I've been wanting to come back to YouTube for quite some time, but I've been crazy busy. Sounds like every YouTuber ever, but we'll get through a few of the things that I've been doing and you kind of see why, because they do have some financial impact as well. But needless to say, I'm happy to be back. I missed YouTube. I missed you as the viewer and everything that comes along with it. So here we are. We're gonna try to start over, try to get things on track, but you know how that goes. So let's get started. So the last time I did a reset was in February, I have here. So basically we're going to be talking about all the money moves or things that I did that had some financial implication from February through May. And we can catch up on June in another video, which is this month. So first major thing is that I bought a house. I may have mentioned this. I'm not sure like where I left off in these videos, but I was in the process of buying a house. I think I mentioned I did buy that house. I actually bought that house end of April, and then in May I got the keys to the house because I allowed them to have 2 weeks to move out after closing. It was kind of a concession of sorts, which I regretted, but I'm trying to move past that just because they kind of like didn't do a good job moving out, even though they still had 2 extra weeks, and I ended up having to, labor myself and spend money for like a dumpster truck to like get rid of all the trash that they had. So there's that. But bought a house, so financial implications of that is that I now have a mortgage payment, of course, but during that time I had to come up with earnest money. So I think I mentioned in a video that was $10,000, and then I put 20% down on the house. So I had to find that money as well. And as I mentioned, I'm going to do that video about how I financed my house. So we'll get into that there. And then the other thing that happened was that I paid off my car. So yay, I do not have any car debt. So the only debt that I have now is this house that I just purchased. So that's good, at least. The less debt, the better. And I'm thinking about paying off the house early because I'm already annoyed with this mortgage payment. Like, I do not like debt. Like, I hate monthly payments in general. So we'll see, because the mortgage payment is quite high in my opinion, like higher than my current cost. Like right now I have a very low cost of living, so it doesn't really affect me financially, but like the mortgage, yeah, it affects me. Like I need to work to pay it effectively. So there's that. Other things is that I got married. I got married in May. So the financial implication of that is that we started a joint bank account, which has been, I wouldn't say it's particularly easy, even for me who like loves finances. It's kind of hard to, I don't know, like give up control of your income to someone else and to like share it, which is the whole point of marriage, is to come together and share. But it's like hard because like for my entire life, like all my money has been my money and I've been able to do whatever I want to. So it's been kind of hard to like, just have that available to someone else. But we did open the bank account, and we opened it with SoFi Bank. Initially I was looking at Ally Bank, but I had banked with them years ago when they were called GMAC Bank. And somehow that made it so that I couldn't open a bank account when I went to open it. And then I called them. They had me on wait forever. They said they would get back to me in 30 days. They never did. So anyway, I am not banking with Ally Bank, but feel free to if you can. I suppose it has similar benefits to SoFi. However, SoFi right now does have the higher interest rate on their high yield savings account. So that's why I would recommend it over Ally. And of course, Ally has terrible customer service based on my experience. So there's that. So we did open a joint bank account, and with that we got $300 bonus, which is already come into my account or our account. So that's nice. And you can get the same bonus if you open an account as well. I'll put the details in the description area of the video. Another bank bonus that I ended up getting is with Chase. So I wanted a local bank for us to have as a joint account, just because sometimes he gets cash. So if he wants to put cash into the account, like we would have this Chase bank account and then we would transfer it to our main account at SoFi. So Chase had I think it's $300 if you opened the checking account, and was it $700 if you also opened a savings account together, so around $1,000. So I've already gotten the $300 for the checking account. You had to like direct deposit money in there to get that. And then the savings account, you have to put $15,000 in there for 90 days to get, you know, that extra bonus. So I have a few more weeks or a month or so before that kicks in. But it was like effectively easy money. I mean, you have to have $15,000 just laying around, which I, in theory, did not. I had them like in sinking funds for like various things, and I basically just took them out of the sinking funds and parked them over there for like the 90 days. And then once that's over, I'm going to take my money back out and put them back into the sinking fund. So that's how I managed to do that. And that is an option for you if you don't already have a Chase bank account, you know, get some extra cash. And then something new that I've gotten back into is cryptocurrencies. So not the scammy type, although you could just say the entire industry is kind of scammy, but whether or not I like it or you like it, like cryptocurrency is becoming somewhat legitimate, at least some areas. So I have only ever invested in Bitcoin because that's the only one to me that has legitimacy. And with like current legislation and like future legislation, it seems to be that, you know, this is going to be a thing, at least for a while. So in the past, I started invested in Bitcoin when it was around 40,000, and then got frustrated with like the volatility / the lack of actual income. Like I think by the time I sold my Bitcoin, I made like a 1% return, which was like not particularly good. But this time around, I basically just like detached mentally from it. And the way I've done that is by doing a set amount that I am willing to lose. So I have been putting in there $50 a week. So that works out to be around $200 a month or $250 a month, depending on how many weeks are in the month. So I suppose I can lose $50 a week and not feel like I've lost all my life savings. So that's what I've been doing. And I did that as well because I wanted to dollar cost average, because in the past I would like try and time it and buy it at a certain time in order to like get profits, and like that's like not worth it, and that's like a whole thing. So by doing it this way, like I don't have that emotional attachment to it. I just treat it like all of my other investments, which I also dollar cost average by like putting a certain amount in there every month. So far, I have made an 18% return, just dollar cost averaging for like the past few months. So not terrible. And we'll see how that goes. I think my goal is to have one Bitcoin, and then after that, I don't really care. So that's currently $100,000. We'll see how that is in the future, but yeah, I just want one to say that I have it, and after that we'll see. Other things that I bought or invested in were Hermes. I think that's the only single stock that I purchased in the time. I do all my regular investing into exchange traded funds or mutual funds, like with my retirement, with my HSA, and that's separate. But with my own money, after I've gotten paid, I ended up buying some Hermes stock during the tariff turmoil. So like when tariffs were enacted, everyone started freaking out and selling off stocks or whatever, and I ended up buying a few stocks off Hermes, which have continued to do well, and I hope they continue to do well into the future. And they should, based on the business model and the fact that everyone is obsessed with Hermes and or getting a Birkin at this point in time. So there's that. And then the other thing that happened was that I actually started working full-time in May. So that has actually been surprisingly okay. I think the thing that I miss the most about it is that I do not have as much free time, which is of course one of the reasons why I have not been able to dedicate much, if any, time to YouTube, is because I'm working like all week. Sometimes I get off early, but usually I only have a few hours of sunlight to do things before it's time to go to bed and wake up early again. So it's been hard in that way. One positive, and the main positive, or the only reason that I really did it, was because now I make full-time income, which effectively doubles my income, because before I was working part-time, which was like half-time, so I had half the income. And I need this extra income, one, to pay my mortgage, which I suppose I could have done working part-time as well, but I'm renovating and doing a bunch of things that require money, or it requires money so that I can replenish my funds. I don't like to just be spending and like have no income coming in. That's like the worst feeling ever. So yes, so that is what's new on that end. And then overall for the year, in terms of how I feel about my money, I would say I haven't felt great about my money because I've been spending money. I've been spending more money than I have made so far this year, I believe. And that is in part to the house. So like I mentioned, I needed 20% down. I needed the earnest money, and then I have already started renovating. So I needed to pay the contractor the first half for that. And the second half is due when it's complete, which is going to be in a few months. So that was at least between everything at least $100,000. So yeah, I'm not sure that I have made that, or that money. I haven't had $100,000 come into my bank account this year, let's just say that. So yeah, so it's been hard in that way, like having money come out of my account. Like I do not love that feeling. However, I wanted a house, so I had to spend money. And I was not happy with how the interior of the house was laid out in terms of wanting to live there. So that needed to be fixed. And the best time to fix it is when I'm already outside of the house and comfortable in my own house, and then I can move in, versus moving in and then dealing with construction when I'm living there. So there's that. So I didn't feel great about my money for the first half of the year, and we'll see how the rest of the year goes. However, in light of my feelings, I just decided to look at my net worth over the year, and my net worth has actually gone up. It went up 6.8% this year. Even though I spent a bunch of money, I still somehow made money. One, from working, so income from that, and then from my stocks, and then of course the money that I spent on the house. The part that I put in is effectively equity, so that equity has somewhat remained with me, at least for now, provided the housing market stays steady as it is. So overall I'm doing okay, I suppose, even though I don't feel great. So there's that. Let me know how you guys are feeling about your money so far this year, and if you're going to be making any changes for the rest of the year. Now we're going to get into a spending recap. So I'll go over my budget for May and how much I made and what I spent. So as you guys may know, if you watched a few of my budgeting videos, I normally budget with 2 checking accounts. So at this point I did not have a joint checking account, so this is just my personal account and my personal income. And then starting in June, I believe, is when I had the joint account, so we will do a separate video with that. But starting balance in this account was $400. And then my salary in May, and this is when I became full-time. However, I think I was partially part-time for part of it as well, so I don't think I got a full salary. But I made $3,211 there. And then extra income, I got my tax return back, which was lovely. I honestly forgot about this. I think this went directly to savings of some sort. So 4,305. So in total, the available balance was $7,919. Then subscriptions, $38. And that involved Google Drive. I attempted unsuccessfully to find a video editor, so I had uploaded all my content up there, and so that they could get the content or the footage to make into a video. Either way, I spent $18 for Google Drive, and I think that is for the year because I haven't got charged again, but I need to double check. And then New York Times, I think my subscription went up to $20, and then I called them, or I chatted on the thing to complain. And then now it's going to be down to $4 per month going forward. But I did end up paying the $20, and then I got a credit for that. Electricity, $52. And I believe this is just for the house that I'm currently living in. In June, I start paying electricity for both places. Internet is $45 this month, so in total bills were $135. Then groceries were $297. My grocery bill has been coming down for some reason or another. I don't necessarily know that food prices have been coming down. Let me know what you guys think. I might just be eating less food out, or I might be like just eating less at home. I'm not sure really what's happening there, but I guess I can't complain. I normally set a budget of about $400. And gas is up $120 because I'm working more, or I'm driving twice as much effectively. And then wellness, $105. Usually I do have something going on here. So I had medical bills for $33. Supplements, I spent $53 on turmeric, which I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to because it made my stomach very irritated and I became nauseous. So that was a waste. And then I bought a multivitamin. Other things that I did was that I paid for therapy, which ended up costing me $19 that month. Then home, $107. So let's see what we did here. So for my new house, when I had bought that dumpster to clear out some trash, whoever picked up the dumpster, I think inadvertently ran over the mailbox that was there, so I had to buy a new mailbox, and then I had to buy numbers to put on the mailbox. However, I guess I'm not mad at it because the mailbox is quite cute and is to my liking. It's a blue mailbox. I'll put the info below if you are in the somehow market for a new mailbox. But all of that for the mailbox and the numbers and the post was $72. And then there is a brick, actually there's 2 brick fireplaces in the new house, and both of them were painted. So I was trying to remove the paint off there unsuccessfully. So I wasted money there, but I spent $38 on supplies to remove the paint, which is next to impossible to get off. So now I'm basically stuck painting it, sadly. Car maintenance, nothing was spent there. So total for living was $629. Extra, I'm gonna copy these over. I forgot to do that before I did the video, so let's do that. Okay, so manicure and pedicure, that was for the wedding. So that was $138. I got gel with my nails and toes. That was $125. And I don't think I'm doing that ever again because I think my nails got damaged. It was next to impossible to remove. I ended up removing it in Spain, which only cost me $6, but it had to basically be filed off. I don't know what kind of gel they put on there. I wanted soak off gel, not like hard gel or whatever. So yeah, that I was not happy about that. Then I spent $300 on wedding photography, which was well worth it. Then I spent $132 on tickets. So my husband wanted to do a scavenger hunt that they're doing at the zoo. And I was reluctant because I don't like puzzles or solving things. I'm just like, my brain does not work like that. However, it was quite fun. And you got to see the zoo as well while they were at it. So that cost $132. Then I signed up for swim. That was $125. And I just finished my last swim class today, and I'm feeling much more confident in the water, and I'm excited to like get some practice in the summer. Then business expenses, I think this is where the editor comes in. So spent $66 for him to edit that vlog of mine. And then apparel. So I went to Spain in May as well. So like, this is why I can't get anything done, because I'm literally doing too much. So I spent $314 in Spain on apparel. I went to this store called Osho. It's basically like Lululemon, but the Spanish version, and significantly cheaper, but still good quality. I ended up getting like a zip-up jacket and matching shorts, and then a pair of shorts as well. And then I got a linen set, which looked fabulous. I might have pictures of myself in it, I don't recall, but there was that. And then I went to the department store there. It's called El Corte Inglés, and I bought a pair of shoes there. Actually, I do have the shoes. The clothes are in the wash, but let me show you the shoes. So I got these shoes. They were like super, let me see if I can get this together here. I'm looking in the viewfinder, but these are the shoes. They're suede pointy toe shoe, and they have that, I don't know what this thing is called here. It's not a neckline because it's a shoe, but they have the neckline, I'm gonna call it, that I absolutely adore. I have two pairs of shoes that are flats that look exactly like this. I just think it looks so classy. And this has a nice, it looks like about 1.5 to 2 inch heel, which is super nice and hard to find, like a low heel version of, like, you know, dress shoes. So this is like super cute. I'm really excited to wear these. And this is from a Spanish brand called Mascaro, and they're on sale. And then I got the VAT tax back as well. So yeah, that was really nice. I wish I did a little bit more shopping in Spain, because it was so easy to get the VAT back. In Spain, all you have to do is scan your receipts at the, they have a kiosk in the airport, and then you like instantly get your money back. You don't need to go to customs, you don't need to get a stamp, nothing. So if you happen to be in Spain and you like to go shopping, you should. And that department store is really nice. It has a bunch of high-end brands. Like I wanted to get some stuff. I found some new brands that I'm in love with, and I want to get some more stuff when I go back over to Europe. So one of the brands was Sandro. Actually, that's a French brand. And then the other was, I think it's called Bimba y Lola or something like that. That's a Spanish brand, but they have super cute clothes and accessories. So look out for those if you happen to be in Spain or in Europe at any point in time. And I think you can get them also in America as well, but obviously it's cheaper over there. In terms of extra, I spent $1,075. And total spending $1,839, leaving me with an end balance of $6,077. Moving on to fixed checking, starting balance 1,109. And then salary, which is the average of these bills here, was $755. So available balance is $1,864. And then home taxes and fees, those are usually $250. Nothing for home insurance. Car insurance, $577. Like right after we got married, I had added my husband's car to the policy. So I think, what is this? This is like, his insurance is quite expensive. Just because of his driving record, which is not the best. So this is a quarter payment, so $577 there. And then cell phone, $86. So in total, spent $913 in bills, leaving with an end balance of $951. So in summary for May, I had an income of $8,271, spending of $2,752, which is broken down here, and then $519 left over. And I would say most of that is already been put into savings. So that's gonna be it for May's budget. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So now that we've done a recap of how things have gone for the last few months, looking forward, it's going to continue to be a spendy few months. So renovations for the house that I bought will be finishing up in the next few months, so I need to of course find the rest of the money to pay for that. And so far that's going to be around $42,000, so I need to find that money. And I wouldn't say I would need to find it because I already have the money. So I'm going to take this $42,000 from my taxable brokerage account. So over the years, I've been saving or investing into this account. And that was mostly for early retirement, which is still on the table, but of course it has changed now that I have a husband and we're trying to start a family and whatnot. How that early retirement plays out, we'll have to see. But it's always nice to have money for financial freedom. So some of that money is going to be used to get the house ready for us to live in, not into. And then what else do I have to do? I have to renovate this house that I'm living in right now. So I'm gonna renovate this house and then make it a rental property, or if that fails, then I will more than likely sell this house. But it's going to take around the next coming months about $7,000 to get the renovation started here. So less, because this is a smaller property and doesn't require as much work. It just requires like cosmetic things and a few safety things / updates to like get it to be rentable. The house that I purchased, I suppose it was livable as it was, but I wanted it to be like totally remade in the image that I have in my head. So that's why that one cost way more money. Like we gutted the bathrooms. This is in the house that I just bought. Gutted the bathrooms, gutted the kitchen, and then gutted the laundry room. Redid like the storage attached to the garage. So we did a lot of things, and that's why the price is higher. This is mostly, like I said, cosmetics. So the bathroom we're gonna not gut, but replace like the vanity mirrors, toilets, put new tile in the bathrooms, and then remove these wallpapers that have been here and are falling off, and repaint, change a few light fixtures, do new flooring. I'm gonna get vinyl plank throughout here. Right now I have like carpet and tile, but it's just gonna be all vinyl plank. So that is what I have coming up in the next few months. So I guess I'm gonna be, once again, I'm trying not to have this like scarcity mindset, because obviously all things aside, like I'm doing okay, like I'm working and I have income and I'm not necessarily expending myself more than I'm making, and I have savings. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who like does not love that feeling of like money just flying out of my hand. So there's that. So those two things are what I have coming up. And then additionally, one positive thing, which I'm glad I included this, is that I'm getting a raise. So actually in 2 days, well, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, I don't know how long July is, or June is, but in July I'm getting a raise. So that raise will of course carry forward through whatever the next time I get a raise. So I think that raise should be around $11,000 annually added to my salary, which I think in my paychecks is not gonna make much of a difference because of taxes and the way that works, but it's still useful to have like a few extra dollars, like whatever it is. Even if they were like giving me $1 extra a month, like I would be okay with that. So yes, that is going to be my mid-year financial check-in, wrap-up, or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out with me for a bit, and let's catch up in the comments below. I would love to hear how you guys have been, and then if you're new here, welcome. I'm happy to have you, and I will see everyone in the next video.